Hello, this is webhostingrewind.com with another video helping you pick the best web hosting company for your need. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things web hosting related. Also, click the links in the description to learn more about each web hosting company that is discussed on this channel. These links are affiliate links, and I will receive a small commission if you purchase through the links below. Also, if you purchase using the links below, you will receive exclusive bonuses not offered anywhere else. The commissions go to supporting the channel to continue to provide relevant and unbiased information. In this video, I am going to review the VPS service offered by Namehero. Now, Namehero is one of the up-and-coming web hosting providers, and so I just want to provide an overview and some of my thoughts. In this video, I am going to cover the price, performance, features, support, what their former and current customers are saying, and also provide a conclusion. Before we get started, I just want to provide some quick definitions of some important terms that will be discussed throughout this video. For example, I want to talk about CPU cores, RAM, SSD storage, and bandwidth. CPU cores give you the ability to handle multiple processes at one time. The more cores, the better. RAM, which stands for random access memory, allows you to complete tasks faster. The more RAM you have, the faster you can complete tasks. And SSD storage, there are two types of storage: SSD, which stands for solid state drive, and HDD, which is traditional hard drives. An SSD storage is faster, lighter, and more durable than its counterpart. And finally, bandwidth is the amount of data sent and received from your server. Now that we have covered those definitions, let's go ahead and talk about Namehero and their VPS hosting service. Namehero has three types of service. They have shared, VPS, and dedicated. VPS stands for virtual private server, and basically what that means is you get your own chunk of server space. You get your own server essentially. VPS hosting is different than shared hosting, and that shared hosting means that server space is shared between hundreds of users. With VPS hosting, you get your own private server, and you're not sharing resources, you're not sharing space with any additional users. Now, VPS hosting is great if you have multiple websites, if you have a website that gets a lot of traffic, if you are maybe a programmer or software web developer, a VPS hosting can be pretty good for you. It's also good if you are hosting content. While it's not advisable to host content on your website, VPS hosting does give you the ability to do that. All right, so now that we have covered what VPS hosting is, some background definitions, let's go ahead and get into the price. The cheapest plan, the cheapest introductory rate offered by Namehero is $21.97 per month. Now that plan includes 30 gigabytes of SSD storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 2 CPU cores, 10 terabytes of outgoing bandwidth. Now incoming is free, but outgoing you get up to 10 terabytes. You get one dedicated IP address. It is fully managed, which means you get control panel access and complete support of its operating system. Now, if we compare that to a very widely known brand like Bluehost, the Bluehost introductory price for its least expensive plan is $19.99 per month. It offers 2 cores, 30 gigabytes of SSD storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of bandwidth, and 1 IP address. So it's very comparable if we're looking at those stats, and it's only about $2 more. The major difference between Namehero and Bluehost is the 10 terabytes of outgoing bandwidth. Everything else appears to be pretty even and pretty consistent. All right, so now that we have covered the least expensive, let's talk about the most expensive VPS offering by Namehero. That offering has an introductory plan of $48.37 per month. That includes 120 gigabytes of SSD storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 8 CPU cores, a US data center, 1 dedicated IP, and again, it is fully managed. Now, if we compare that to Bluehost, Bluehost is $59.99 per month. It offers 4 cores, 120 gigabytes of SSD storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 3 terabytes of bandwidth, and 2 dedicated IP addresses. So if we're taking a look at it, the VPS service offered by Namehero with the most expensive plan is actually about $11 cheaper than Bluehost. It offers 4 more CPU cores, and it also offers a US data center. Now, Bluehost doesn't mention exactly where its data center is, but that can be important depending on where your website is hosted, who visits your website. Let's say your website's primarily visited by people in the United States, your website can load faster versus if the data center is in, let's say, Bangladesh. All right, so now that we have talked about price, let's go ahead and cover the performance. Now, Namehero has a 99.9% uptime. It has instant provisioning, which is really good. You can easily clone and resize your VPS, and the websites load insanely fast. The reason why Namehero can offer instant provisioning and they can easily clone and resize your server is because they have 100% cloud-based servers. Basically what that means is they don't have physical data centers. That allows them to offer redundancy. And if we're being perfectly honest here, it sounds like they have their websites are hosted on Amazon Web Services. It's purely speculation, but a little known fact that a lot of these web hosting providers use Amazon Web Services as their backend, and they just kind of cover it up and make it pretty and package it nicely. That is beside the point, but if we're talking about performance, you want that uptime to have 99.9999%. 99.9 is the industry standard, and so that is average. However, I am pleased to see that the instant provisioning and you can easily clone and resize your server. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the features. There are a ton of features that Namehero offers over and above some of the well-known web hosting companies out there. Some of those features include, as I mentioned, 100% cloud powered. Their SSD drives are actually backed up with RAID 10 redundancy, which exceeds the market or industry standard. Free website migration, so if you're coming over from Bluehost or GoDaddy or wherever, they'll actually migrate it over for free. There are some caveats to that, so you have to check with them to see exactly what they'll migrate over for free. You can easily upgrade and downgrade. You can upgrade and downgrade with a click of a button. Instant provisioning, as I mentioned, you get 52 free scripts. Now, those scripts may or may not be helpful for you. No SQL database. They actually use document-based databases, which actually makes your websites load faster because they are not structured. They also offer the ability of SSH and cron jobs, unlimited email addresses, automatic offsite backups, 75 open source scripts, and one-click installs for WordPress, Joomla, and more. All right, so now that we have covered the features, which are pretty impressive considering this is an up-and-coming web hosting company, let's talk a little bit about the support. Now, the support was very good at one point. It was top-notch. The support group, which is open 24/7, available through chat, I also believe through call, they would go above and beyond to help you and solve your problem. Since then, while they are helpful, it does take a little bit more effort to get what you want. Unfortunately, you might have to reach out to them a couple times, and in my past experiences, when I first got started with Namehero, they would take care of everything with chat. Now you have to submit tickets, and while that's not a big deal, usually the tickets are answered within, I would say, 5 or 6 hours. It's still an additional step that can cause some frustration. If I were to say one area of Namehero service is not above average, is probably the support. It's average or probably a little bit above. Now that could be to an increased number of customers, that could be outsourcing their support. I don't really know why for a fact, but I just know from personal experience that their support has degraded just a little bit. Now that we have covered support, let's spend a couple minutes taking a look to see what current and former customers have said about Namehero. All right, so now that we have taken a look at what customers have said, if I were to give an overall rating of Namehero, I think I would give it a rating of 4.0 to a 4.2. I like the features that are included in the VPS. I like the price range. The price is very competitive. They go above and beyond when it comes to the features. 100% cloud powered, which means a data center could go up in flames, but because it's backed up nightly, because it's redundant, redundantly backed up, there is little chance of my website being completely lost. I like the ability to instantly upgrade and downgrade. If you are testing some new product or service, you want to be able to upgrade to test and make sure everything is going well, and then downgrade when you don't really need the service. I like the ability to add unlimited email addresses, the one-click install, SSD drive with RAID 10 redundancy. But again, the one thing that holds Namehero back is the support. As I mentioned, when I first got started with Namehero, the support was top notch. It was A1. They would bend over backwards. But it seems like I've been with Namehero for almost 2 years now, and their support has degraded. It takes a little bit longer to answer questions, and sometimes you've got to reach out to them multiple times and even submit a ticket to have what feels like basic questions answered. So again, if I were to rate Namehero, I would give it somewhere between a 4 and a 4.2 because of all of that strengths and weaknesses. Learn more about this web hosting company or any other web hosting company discussed on this channel. Be sure to check out the links in the description. Once again, this is Web Hosting Rewind, helping you pick the best web hosting company for your needs. Also, if you purchase using the links below, you will receive exclusive bonuses not offered anywhere else. The commissions go to supporting the channel to continue to provide relevant and unbiased information. Thank you and have a great night.